Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to WillCast. It's the podcast with the most creative name in the entire world. Thank you for tuning in as always. I appreciate it. Liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Today, Sean, you're with us. How's it going?
Hello, sir. I am doing very well. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm really excited to talk to you, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Very much. Yeah. I love doing this sort of like reaching out to the community, chatting. It's usually Bibicat, our community manager does this, so it's nice for a change. Yeah, very
Yeah,
exciting.
that's
It
nice.
is, yeah.
Yeah. So, can you do us the favor for the people who don't know who you are and introduce yourself real quick, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. My name is Sean McCafferty. Some know me as Moo or Moo TV. I'm the COO of Hypixel Studios, the creators of Hytale.
Awesome. Yeah, and for those of the people that don't know, Hytale is a block game that I think a lot of people are very excited.
But well, it's so much more than just a block game, my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is, and it's hard. It's like people have said it's like a spiritual successor to Minecraft. It's block game 2.0, and you know all of the above. What Hytale is a a multiverse, right? It's like a bunch of connected experiences. We have the adventure game set in this world of Orbis, right? And next to that is really where our history comes from, and kind of the notion of the minigame server, right? Where think of it like Disneyland, but instead of rides, you have games, and then we have the whole creator ecosystem, right? But all of those things are interconnected. You can jump between one and the other. You can bring your friends along the way.
yeah. It's. I mean, as I said, like it's not just me. Everyone's excited about this game, especially the Minecraft community. Um, Well, I would like to know, I would love to dive a little bit into Hytale, but I'd love to know a little bit about you first. Um,
Oh God, right. Right. How do you call a very long 22-year-old story short? Right. I started in obviously from my thick Northern Irish accent. I come from Northern Ireland. I come from Derry. Um, I started, as my mum said, mucking about with computers, making game content in 1999. Probably before a lot of your
yeah.
your audience were born. Um, and it was an up and down thing. There was no industry in Ireland at the time. We were kind of we thought ourselves to be pioneers, not knowing that we actually didn't have a clue what we were doing. You know, we ended up not being, I wouldn't say significant, but we ended up working with a lot of really powerful kind of companies, blue chip companies like Nvidia, ATI, AMD, doing tech demos and stuff. It was then during that period of time I was doing workshops at a local university. Called McGee, it's the University of Ulster in Derry, and I met a young man there, and he was singularly annoying. He was he constantly had his hand up. He was constantly asking and answering questions, sometimes answering his own questions. And that young man was Noxie, who's now our CEO. But it was like Hermione Granger, not knowing Kim Bassett,
Yeah.
just knows everything, you know. But I find the one thing I will say about him back then, because I think he was only about 17 or so, was the fact that the passion just bled out of him. It was unreal. The rest of the class were fairly tight-lipped. You get that sometimes, but he was just so engaged. The point where I walk outside for a breath of fresh air, and then hear the pitter patter of tiny feet, and then there was he asking me more questions. You know, a few months later, we were working on a project called Dogfighter, and I needed QA people, and we had kind of internship sort of positions coming up, and I saw his CV, and I said to my studio lead at the time, hire that guy. Just he will burn on passion. He's just awesome. So the running joke is that Noxie was given his first job by me, and I've been given my last job, which is sort of ominous
Hmm.
by him,
Yeah.
right? You know, but yeah. So fast forward a few years time, and we've gone through a bunch of dev cycles with tech demos, and we launched Starfire. It didn't do as good as we wanted. We split away, created a new company called Black Market Games. Made another game. It didn't really work out either, and then I took a bit of a sabbatical. But Noxie stayed in the industry, and he would definitely join multiplayer. I joined Riot. I ended up working in Dublin for Riot. But then that's how and it was through the multiplayer connections that I actually met the Hypixel guys who were doing the Minecraft server, right? And all those mini games. And he came to me one day and said, "Hey, look at what I'm doing." And I basically said, "Yeah, kid, well done. Go play with your Legos. It's all good. See ya." But time passed, and he actually kind of because he knew the sort of person that I am. He said, "Look, I've got these guys, these builders in Minecraft, and they make these beautiful maps, but they play like crap. Like they're gorgeous, but they used to play well. Can you give them the level design 101 sort of stuff you taught me back in the day?" Yeah, I'm sure, no problem. What I didn't know was that Nazi was kind of laying a trap for me. You know, it was just once I was exposed to that whole creative process and those hungry minds like looking to absorb as much information as possible, that I would just get hooked on it again. So when I then came and said, "Hey, do you want to take a look at what we're doing now?" I went, "Yeah, sure." And I was blown away, dude. Right? It wasn't like it got through God knows how many development cycles by that stage, but seeing like a microcosm of that working with Hypixel Studio or Hypixel Inc., the Minecraft guys, they're all very young, late teens, early 20s,
Mm.
and you see them kind of with the sheer grit of determination to get stuff done, right? And how widespread they were. They're all over the world, right? People in New Zealand, all the way around the Quebec and the west coast of the States, and seeing how they've all come together was just the first kind of real realization that there's something incredibly and uniquely powerful here, right? And that, you know, what's that sort of business work and a working model, and you just put the word, this is what we're doing. If you in any way passionate about, contact us and we'll see what we can do. And drawing upon that already lively Minecraft community to come in and just kind of flex their muscles and kind of in this cool, welcoming environment. And I enjoyed it. And I was like, I'm a tender age of, but I'm in my mid 40s. Um, and to be brought into that very young team at a kind of middle management layer at that time was kind of intimidating because like,
Yeah.
who's a soul fart, what's he about, But I've never been made more welcome. I've
Mm.
never been more welcome in a place of work. So that's what started off, and within 3 months I was in Nikon in front of 8,000 people, waxing it lyrical, doing ball battle. It was one of the best times of my life. It was awesome.
That's amazing. Two things, Sean. One, can you
Yeah.
move the mic a little bit closer to your. There you go.
How's that? How's
Yes,
that?
much better. Awesome. Thank you.
I breathe like Darth Vader. That's why I usually keep
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it is amazing to see young people have access to the technology to develop and become so talented in almost anything today. I mean, I imagine when you started out in your game development journey, it was probably a bit harder for young people to create in the same way as they can today.
You had to actively know that it existed, right? And then actively pursue it. And when I was starting, the internet was fairly young,
Mm.
right? Pages with pictures on them took a while to load on a dial-up modem, and it was used to say like Gamma Sutra, and I guess been renamed now. So don't go looking for it. But just gathering as much information as I could because there was no center of truth where I lived, so the internet was the only place I could go, right? And then because if you've ever read a book called Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, right? It gives you a little kind of snapshot of how different companies or individuals go about developing games, and they're all very, very, very different. Nobody's written the manual for how to create a company and how you staff a company and how to therefore go ahead and make a game and then sort of prescribe because games are like fingerprints, they're individual, they're unique creative efforts, each single one of them, with a view to sparking an emotional response from somebody who's observing or actually engaging with that game. Uh, but the tools that I had were things like I started or creating maps within Quake 2 and Quake
Mm.
3 back in the 80s, I think called GTK Radiant, which is a level editor. It was very kind of brush based. It was all car based shooters. It was basic, but there was nuance there, and there was information that there was a budding level design you had to know, like how to layer up lights so that you don't to kill performance, and having to understand the technicalities of how you put a level together in a bespoke engine and what the caveats were was a fantastic learning exercise. And then you kind of realize, whoa, that's only for this specific genre. What happens if I move to RTS? What does that look like? What happens if I move to something else, a third person adventure game, right? Or sprawling kind of outside landscape? What do you do with that? And that was an education. That was just there was nowhere to get that information but the internet. So that's how I kind of started out. I think now when you have communities based around creative effort, modding is now it's a thing. It's part of common language. It's just it's a beautiful expression of creativity in a wild west sort of environment. You can do whatever you want. You can engage with games like people thrive when games don't have modding in them anymore, right?
Mm.
And kind of that is kind of that visceral sort of energy and that visceral sort of fountain of creativity is something that it's the thing that sparked the Hypixel server on Minecraft. It's the thing that sparked Hytale. That's the center of what we're doing right now, right? Is to open that up as much as we possibly can. Working inside of Minecraft was difficult. It was never really intended for what the community then used it for, right?
Mm.
At the time I was working inside of Minecraft, like a lot of tools we were using were actually community created tools,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And the bar rate was quite high. Even creating a map and then finding the hidden folder inside of Windows, and then if you want to share it with your friends, you had to port forward, and that's why we ended up making a server. But the fact of the matter is that we felt and saw all those pains. They weren't intentional. Like there's no evil here, right? But it was difficult. So why not remove as many of those barriers as you possibly can, and take somebody from creative play to creator pro, right? That's the kind of model and ethos on the type as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so exciting. One of the reason or the reason why I got into Minecraft was because I already always had a passion for also game development. I always played the games where you could level design within the game. And so I was actually one of those basic haters of Minecraft in the beginning. Like, oh, it's just a block game. The graphics are horrible. And then my friend showed me that you could make your own game within the game. And I was hooked ever since. And I have spent so many hours in Minecraft. I've never played a game so much as Minecraft.
It's brilliant. It's phenomenal.
It is.
It crosses generations.
Uh
It
huh.
is a masterpiece. It is brilliant, right? We wouldn't be here doing what we're doing without it,
Yeah, no.
right? And the fact of the matter is, I don't think there's a world where I don't want to see that not exist.
Mm.
Because it is there's a beautiful surface to it, but there's depth there that you've seen yourself. If you made a plugin in order to kind of make a game, or if you use even in game systems themselves to create an experience, you know how deep you can go, how deep down that rabbit hole you can go,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's a beautiful thing, right? It's there, and it's there to on the surface. It looks fairly innocuous. It looks very basic. It's very child friendly because it's so simplistic in its view. But you just if you start peeling back those curtains and you see the depth that you can go to, then you end up with Hypixel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Was there ever, maybe you know this, was there ever a game as revolutionary as Minecraft before?
Um,
Perhaps some of the Source games, like you said, Quake, Counter
yeah,
Strike, perhaps?
yeah. That was for me was kind of really the first time I really seen communities engage with making their own content. Like I was a big map maker. I love making maps for Quake 2, and then more prominently Quake 3. So there's people like Level Lord knocking about, and that stuff and kind of that idea. It was still very kind of niche, but there was but the same feeling that I have observing and being part of that community is something that you now observe on a much wider scale
Mm.
across the world and across different games. And the thing for me is, as a developer, somebody who's actually making a product. I hate using the word product. It's an experience. It's a thing. It's a living organism. Um, is the fact that when you see back in the late 90s, early 90s, right? Those communities, those people banding together, it smells the same. It feels the same. It's like just those creative juices that have to come out. There's no stopping it, right? All you can do is facilitate and make the road as easy as it
Mm.
possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quake was a big one. Doom before it. The shareware version of Doom saw a lot of kind of modifications as well. But Minecraft, I think, is unique in the breadth and type of content that you can get from that single game, let's call it, right? Where it is being used by some as a platform, by some as a place of exhibiting weird modified experiences. And it's the content and the kind of and the difference of experience is so diverse. I don't think anything's ever touched it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing about Minecraft. You can almost like literally do anything within it. People play it for so many different reasons.
Yep,
It's,
yep, absolutely. Like we come just as we were starting into the whole Hytale thing. We're kind of like to know like what sort of audiences are we dealing with here, right? Um, Looking at that, we identified 11 different sub-communities within Minecraft. 11, right? Lots of people play Minecraft just to play Minecraft,
mm,
right? Then there's people who watch people play Minecraft and then play Minecraft themselves. Then there's people who make videos about playing Minecraft or play mods of Minecraft. And the list goes
yeah.
on and on
Yeah.
and on and on, right? So like it's one of the exercises we did was actually prioritizing who those audiences were and who we should service and who we would try to service and where we draw the line. So there's a lot of deep research within that side of things as well.
Yeah. And it's one thing I love to talk to artists about is how much work goes into different crafts, and especially a video game.
Good question, dude.
Yeah.
um, right. Okay, I don't really tip a hand over the development process, but I'll give you an example from outside of what we're doing now. We were doing a demo back in the day called Dreadnought. It was for AMD and Havoc. AMD chipset manufacturers, they do the ATI cards, they do the AMD cards, and there's Havoc, who are a physics middleware company who started about the same time as I did back in 1999, and now they're servicing EA and the battlefree games and all the physics and stuff and backdoor physics and vehicles and all that kind of stuff. They're doing fantastically well. I still know some of the guys there. But we're doing this demo called Dreadnought. I was set on an old decommissioned Russian ship that had been stolen and had been then changed into a place where they're making super soldiers. All very cliched stuff, right? But when you're like say when you're developing the scenario, you sit back and you go, what are the reasons for this, and you start sketching things out. When it comes to character development, you know, one of the things that John Hendricks, our creative director, does is that let's talk about, let's say, I'm way bringing forward in the Highfield now, the Quebecs. Why Quebec,
mm,
right? Go back to the question: why do they exist, right? What are their motivations as a society? Do they have societal motivations? Where do they live? What do they look like? What do they like to do when they're not just being Quebecs, right? And all that stuff. And like we have Miro boards that are just crazy, like the
Oh, I
hugest
could
whiteboard
imagine.
you ever see, right? And from those you derive, things like their life cycle, and you derive um what they find compelling, what they're afraid of, every little aspect of the personality, right? To a point, right? There's like, does a player? And always the question is, does a player really need to know that, or how easy is it going for us to show the player that this
Mm,
is a facet of the Quebec? And then we point out to kind of okay, let's talk about this. Go back to the life cycle scheme. So, what does a baby Quebec? What behaviors does it exhibit, and so on and so forth. I'm not giving away anything because it's an awesome product. Like hats off to John Hendricks. He's created a really inclusive sort of process where a lot of our guys are pulled together. And it doesn't matter if you're a designer or you're an ops or you're a creator or you're the finance guy. Everybody comes in and they just put their ideas down. And John kind of goes through it, and then with the designers, they kind of decant it and break it down and calls it the crocodile mouth because crocodile mouth's wide, right? And everybody's at the start, everybody's in part of it, and then the teeth come down. So
yeah.
they bring it out, we open it up, bring it down, open it
Mm,
up, bring it down, until it comes back to that point. And it's just a beautiful process, and it gives great ownership to the team over a lot of stuff that we're doing. And now we're seeing an evolution of our characters, and they're more grounded than they were before, and their environments are richer, and It's just beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. And as you said, it's so interesting that something I doubt a lot of people think about is all of the different people involved in a project like this and from different parts. Like you said, finance guys, right? And then artists and the technical guys.
I'll give you like we one of the things that we had to kind of look really closely at ourselves about was our team structure, right? Hytale is a huge undertaking. It's massive, right? And we don't want to make it any smaller than we believe it should be, right?
Hmm.
So we're going to make a team that we are, well, yeah, they're excellent. We're going to make the team that's going to be able to deliver this, right? But in order to do so, you have to restructure your company. Because at the very start, I wasn't the head of content, which was all the art, all the design, all the creativity stuff, right? And I had a gentleman called Radislav, who's in charge of all the technical stuff. Basically, two producers, right? Managing the two pillars of the
Hmm.
development. Every person we talked to who'd been round the block, including Riot, right? That's no secret that we obviously have been acquired by Riot. They said, your project is huge. You're going to need to scale. The model that you have for your business will not scale. So what we did was we split our effort into what we call disciplines, right? Creative is a discipline, but within creative, you have art, animation, audio, design, UI. And within each of those, you have sub-disciplines, right? So in
Hmm.
art, you have concept art, you have modeling,
Yeah.
so on and so forth, and they're all managed in that way. And then if you go over to tech, right, you'll have our technical director who looks after everything there. But then you'll have things like DevOps, right, services. You have AI, you have rendering, you have the
Hmm.
agent core tech, all that.
Yeah.
You can break it down together so we can actually manage the effort, right? So there, and then you have operations, which I'm now running, right? Um, soon to get back on the product, woohoo! But so in operations, you have finance, you have recruitment, you have HR, you have technical operations, managing all our licenses and things like that there, and then of course business strategy and stuff. So yeah, the jobs and the diversity of the effort that's required to make a game is staggering,
Hmm.
staggering.
Yeah. Hytale's release date was delayed originally, right? It was meant to be released in 2021.
That was yes, that's what we thought, but I think we've been fairly clear of that in our blog posts.
Hmm.
And the fact that one of the big things that we decided to do was we originally going to release this on PC, right, to a certain scope. And going through it, we realized that the scope of the project we had was actually much bigger than we thought it was going to be. But in order for us, and this is business talk, right? In order for us to compete in a very kind of demanding marketplace, right, we have to hit this as hard as we can, which is the breadth of the game itself, but also as wide as we can, which is as
Hmm.
many platforms. Like, I'll put this thing on a toaster if it'll play,
Hmm.
right? It's not going. So that decision was a hard one, right?
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of caveats. Not because we started based on we started with our engine in Java because that's where we came from, right? We made the tough decision to move to C++, right? Anybody can see that people not in the Java space, we're looking for C++ developers. But with that comes the ability for us to simultaneously develop on various different platforms to create a more robust and hard hitting kind of impact into the market, and but also to service the players. Right?
Hmm.
It was a tough decision, and it sucked. And then we got into the weeds of the thing. So like, this is a big amount of effort. But Riot have been incredibly supportive, incredibly supportive. They said, "Well, for what it's worth, guys, this is the right play." But they let us come to that decision ourselves,
Yeah.
right? Um, because I know there's a lot there's, from some corners of the community like, but Riot are telling me this, Riot are not telling us to do. They're helping us and they're advising us, but they don't get in our faces about it.
Hmm.
They've been awesome. It's the reason we went with it because we had choices,
Yeah.
right? Right, we're the only people on the table, but they were the best for all those reasons, So it was a painful decision to make. We are going to do this, right? We are going to make this the biggest game we possibly can, but release it,
Mm.
right? It has been defined, right? To come out the task sort of level, or the vast majority of it has. And we're going to move forward as fast as we possibly can, but as carefully as we
Mm.
can.
Yeah.
We get one chance at knocking this out of the park on day one, right?
Mm.
And that's what we're aiming for. It has like we have such a high standard for ourselves, right? I know I can understand a lot of the community pains that they want to play it now, right? We've been kind of in pre-production, right, up to the point for no small amount of time before we made the announcement trailer, right? And that announcement trailer has been promises, right? Promises that we intend not just intend to keep, but we will supersede hopefully, right? That's the pressure we put upon ourselves because of the sheer amount of engagement we've had. Because we are still getting fan art, we are still getting people saying,
Mm.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
we're still getting support from the community, even if we give them bad news." Right? The community is the fuel, right? That
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
burning at the center of our furnace that is driving this whole engine and putting it forward. Without the community, we would not be where we are.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Absolutely. I
So we
think.
owe it. We literally owe it to make this the best
Yeah.
damn game. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that is how it is with almost any art. For content
Yep.
creators, social media, for film in Hollywood. The community rules everything essentially.
Yep. Well, it's well, you don't have anything with a community,
Mm.
right? So about back to business terms again, right? In order to have a successful thing, right? These three things, right? You need a team to deliver a great idea, right? And then people who want to see it, right? The team, the product, the market,
Mm.
right? But only one of those things is absolutely crucial, and that's the market. The people who want to see it. And they're excited by what the product is, right? Right. No, if they're not terribly excited about the product, they'll tell you how to change it,
Mm.
right? Or they'll say, "No, this is wrong. Please do this." I mean, oh, right, okay. If you listen to your community, that's what happens, right? If your team's not good enough, you can replace it, right? Thankfully, we are attracting rock stars now at this point, right? And
Mm.
we still have that core. We still have that core of guys who've come from the Minecraft community to keep things authentic, right? And they've been doing so well. They've been kicking ass, and they've learned a lot themselves as well, right? They've really I'm all proud and all. They've grown up with this, right? And it's not been easy. It has not been easy, right?
Mm.
But without that market, without that community, you don't have a damn thing,
Mm.
right? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's what's important. That's what we keep on our minds all the time.
Yeah. And it is awesome to see people are still so hyped about Hytale. It's amazing to see.
It is, I think, what I love about what I love about like Hypixel as a company, right? And then the relationship we have with the community is there's a certain I keep using the word authenticity and honesty, right? We're not ones to hide away from tough decisions that we've had to make that will affect, like, for example, the release date. Or, as we go through development, there'll be stuff that we keep away because we want to surprise people with how awesome it is. But we're only keeping, once this thing kind of pushes really kind of hard end and we kind of see the kind of use all the new tech and stuff, you're going to see us post more and more regularly, right? But for now, we got to keep our head down.
Mm.
We got to keep moving forward. And when we make some noise, it's lovely to see the community backing us up and saying, right, the vast majority of people are saying, yeah, this is great. We're disappointed that you're giving us this news, but we understand and we just wish you the best. Please don't muck it up.
Mm.
Right? Please just make it the best thing you can be. And that resonates to every single person at Hypixel. Every single person.
Yeah. Yeah, as you said, there definitely are people who are disappointed that it's essentially taking so long for Hytale to come out, especially when the release trailer was in 2018.
Yes, December 2018.
But I still think that somehow it was a really good time to post it because that was at the time when Minecraft was sort of getting a spike back up again, right?
It was, and that was after the lull that was created by Fortnite. Fortnite had everybody's. I've talked to other people who make games, and Fortnite was so popular, it was hitting everybody's numbers. It was insane. Like fair play, it's awesome. I play Fortnite with my nephew, He's 5, you know, and he doesn't play right. He doesn't.
He plays it at least.
But he plays it.
Yeah.
He likes jumping on cars and going swimming. And that's what it doesn't matter. It's fun, and he loves it. He does the floss and all that kind of stuff. So it again is a phenomenon. But the fact of the matter is that game that impacted everybody. It's why we went off. We kind of went, right, okay, we need to start striking up relationships here, or the dream is going to die. But when we released that trailer, we had been operating in secret for 2 years, I think. So having a team, even we were about 25 people then, if even, right? Because we can't start bringing people. We're hiring externally, but the vast majority of people were coming from Minecraft, for the Minecraft server, and to have those people sitting there and doing this wonderful thing. And when you're making games, it looks like you make a lot of progress very quickly, right? But in order to unlock your team, you have to have your rendering correct. You have to have some sort of basic pathfinding, the basic features and the trailer's authentic. It's what you see is what you get. But it was nowhere near ready for somebody to put their hands outside the team, right? So we knew we had a lot of work to do, but there was a pressure cooker built up inside, and as well as that, because it was secret, we knew we needed to pull in talent. We knew that we needed to pull in people with shipping experience, for example, right? People who had shipped games and done with like I have, right? But more, right? But not just as leaders, people who can teach and mentor and bring the people who have that authenticity up through the ranks as well, right? So maybe the community doesn't actually realize that, but part of the big drive of this was that they pop open not just a pressure cooker of everybody having to keep quiet and keep secret about it because they were so excited about it, right? Yeah, but when that announcement happened, like, we lost 2 weeks because we knew we had to let that pressure release from our guys. We had to let them kind of gorge on the reaction videos, gorge on the new content was made, and enjoy. For the 2 years they've been sitting there with their heads just working so hard to get this thing looking like, we had firmed up the promises we were going to make about the game. They'd have that release then was awesome, but you had to let the guys enjoy it. It was coming up to Christmas, a couple of weeks, yeah, fine. But New Year, let's go. But God, I think I've lost my point now. But it was the pressure cooker reason and letting our guys kind of feel that community. It's a set that's fuel to the fire, but then also raising our profile among the development community because we needed more talent.
Yeah.
Simple. We knew we needed to scale. We knew we needed people of experience, and you can't attract people of experience unless they know what your project's about, unless they know what your company is about, unless they can get behind it, right? And it starts with a single domino, right? When you get somebody of a certain level of experience, and we're talking that people who have multiple decades, right? Coming in and get 20 years experience, they know everybody. And then it starts to proliferate out, and then all of a sudden, oh, he's working there. Well, let me take a look, and they have a look at, wow, this thing's cool, and then come to and then they just fall in love with the company as well. Because we treat our people well, right? And we treat them well because we believe in what they're doing, we believe in their skill, we believe in what the mission is on. Sorry, I'm getting very preachy there.
No, that's awesome. I love it. Sean, I would hate myself if I did not at least try to squeeze a little bit of secret information out of you about Hytale. Some exclusive.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. Fair play for trying, but I'm not really willing to give anything.
No, I understand.
Stuff is coming, but I can't even tell you when.
Yeah.
All right. It's God, I wish I could tell you stuff because it's so good. It's so good. But I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
No,
I know it's frustrating. I know people about listening go, oh, for God's sake. Yeah, but no, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
I completely understand, of course. Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
Yeah, this was a pleasure, and I'm excited for Hytale, and I expect to be one of the first beta testers.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll see what I can do. Look, I'm writing your name down.
Oh, awesome.
There we go. We'll see. I promise nothing.
No. Sean, go ahead and plug anything.
We have a bunch of roles up At the moment. We are recruiting hard, right? We've gone from when we started about 20 odd people, we're now at 100, right? And we need more talented, passionate people. Go to the jobs page, www.hytale.com/jobs or hypixelstudios.com/jobs, and have a look. Um, one of our values is fostering young talent, right? Although we're not, the team is not doesn't have the robustness. We start taking on relationship. This is something that we're probably going to be doing in the future, right? So always keep an eye on what we're doing in terms of who we're hiring and what we're hiring for. We even have relocation packages, stuff like that there. So if anybody's interested, have a look, apply, see how it goes.
Awesome. Yeah, go check it out. Thank you again, Sean. This was a pleasure.
Absolute honor, sir. Thank you very much indeed.
And to the viewers, thank you for tuning in, listening, watching, whatever you're doing with the podcast. I always appreciate that. Take it easy. Peace.